For a few hours, there were thousands of people in one place in Minneapolis, all with a single issue on their minds. That issue is the same one that's led to riots in Los Angeles and the peaceful gatherings today in the Twin Cities. The acquittal of the officers tried for beating Rodney King.
We'll report on today's Twin Cities protest in just a moment, but first an update on the situation tonight in Los Angeles. At last report, 44 people have been killed and nearly 2,000 have been injured. Compared to the last few days, though, things have been very quiet. Troops have been stationed in the more tense intersections, and there have been very few new fires set. Late today, Mayor Tom Bradley named former baseball commissioner Peter Uberoff to oversee the city's recovery. Uberoff was in charge of the 1984 Los Angeles Olympics. Earlier in the day, one of the communities hit hardest by the riots showed its unity. More than 100,000 Korean Americans and their supporters marched through the streets. In many cases, businesses owned by Korean Americans had been targeted by looters. Now that the worst is apparently over, the mending begins both psychologically and physically. Daryl Savage reports on the events of this cleanup day in Los Angeles.
Sunrise in Los Angeles revealed a city that is no longer under siege. Of course, the looters do still have their moments. And around-the-clock radio reports detail various power outages in a several hundred-mile radius.
Down from 22,000, they're down to about 12,000 customers still without electrical service, and they're sending the crews out.
But it is becoming clear that the slow, painful recovery has begun. For starters, emergency crews and the residents themselves can now see what has to be done. Much of Los Angeles is still burning. The difference now is that more people are helping to put the fires out, and fewer people are setting them. Maybe the residents are tired. Maybe the intimidating sea of green has made its mark. But whatever the reasons, calm has finally gained the upper hand, and most of the fighting has been replaced by healing. Thousands of volunteers are helping with the cleanup. People who live in the war-torn neighborhoods and people who live on the other side of town are working side by side to give this city a facelift.
I've been sitting at home for the past couple of days just wondering what I can do. Frustrated, intimidated, scared, but I figured I have to do something, I mean, I can't just sit at home. This is my city, too, and I want to take it back.
A promising sight is that black, white, Asian, and Hispanic are working together, even in the poorest of neighborhoods.
The weekend is here. Hopefully people will stay home and just cool off with it, and we won't have any problems. I just hope that it just cools down and we can go back to rebuilding.
Even some of the victims are determined not to give up. Store owner Norman Simplis fought off looters for 2 straight days, and in the brief moment it took to drive home and shower, he lost it all.
And at 10:30, they burnt the damn store. It hurts my heart, man. But I got one of my bulletproof vests, and I ain't going nowhere. Maybe we can take the bad that happened and make some good out of it. They always say sometimes the harder you fall, if you're a fighter, the stronger you'll come back up.
This big city has a long way to come back up, but after 3 days, it appears willing to start. With photographer Bob Fishnick, I'm Daryl Savage for WCCO Television News, reporting from Los Angeles.
Now we're going to move to today's events in the Twin Cities, beginning with the march in Minneapolis.
It drew 5,000 people by some estimates. Their goal was to peacefully express their rage over the King verdicts. It was a march that drew people from all kinds of races and backgrounds, as Caroline Lowe reports.
Where do we get justice? In the street.
United in their anger and frustration over the Rodney King verdict, the protesters took to the streets of Minneapolis this afternoon.
What we're doing today is we're marching in defense of ourselves, because what happened to Rodney is happening to us.
Arm in arm, they paraded down Plymouth Avenue. While their words and chants were militant, most of the march was overwhelmingly peaceful.
No justice, no peace. Prosecute the police. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now.
At the request of African-American community leaders, police agreed to keep their distance during the demonstration. One exception, Police Chief John Locke.
Yeah, who brought you down here?
I brought myself down here.
Why?
Because I agree with the cause.
And many protesters brought their children to participate in the 3-mile walk this afternoon.
He had questions at home about, the television and what was going on, and so I wanted to bring him so he would understand and know what was going on.
The fight for oil that we don't even have a...
The marchers wrapped up their demonstration with a rally at City Hall. The crowd cheered a series of passionate speeches. And they made it clear that the last word has yet to be heard on the issues brought so sharply to the surface since the verdict on Rodney King.
There's a train coming down the track. It's a mighty train. It's going to be carrying you and me. Ain't nobody going to be able to turn it around. Ain't nobody going to be able to stop it because it's a train of freedom. And it can't stop till it gets to its destination.
With Suzanne Richter, Carol Imler, WCCO Television News, Minneapolis.
Even though the protest itself was peaceful, one group that broke away from that crowd created an incident in downtown Minneapolis. About 20 young people stormed some stores between 5th and 7th on the Nicollet Mall, running off with whatever they could. A security guard who tried to stop the shoplifters was jumped and beaten. He was taken to the hospital with head and neck injuries. Police made one arrest. There's no word yet on how much property those shoplifters took.
St. Paul residents had a rally of their own this afternoon. This one was at the Mount Olivet Baptist Church. About 300 people heard church and civic leaders talk about healing the wounds left by the King verdict and the riots around the country. Senator Paul Wellstone and Mayor Jim Scheibel told the crowd that it's time for the nation's leaders to start doing their jobs and upholding civil rights.
We have one more piece of tape to show you of rioting in a U.S. city, but this is not related to the Rodney King verdict. The violence in Ames, Iowa, was the culmination of too much partying during Iowa State University's annual spring celebration. Dozens were hurt. 22 were jailed following that rioting. The police chief in Ames says it started with drunken stupidity. Then people took advantage of the situation to start fights. The rioting lasted some 3 hours.
And in Bloomington tonight, police used their billy clubs on protesters outside a church. Abortion rights advocates were protesting the appearance of Randall Terry, the founder of Operation Rescue, which is known for its own abortion protests. They were outside the Bloomington Assembly of God Church. Police arrested one protester and had to subdue some others. No one was seriously injured in the scuffle.
It's another weekend of political conventions around Minnesota, and today several nominations were handed out. In the state's 7th congressional district, incumbent Colin Peterson will again represent the Democrats. He'll run against State Representative Bernie Oman of St. Joseph, who won the IR endorsement. Representatives Tim Penny, Bruce Vento, and Jim Oberstar all ran unopposed for the nomination in their district. Tomorrow, DFLers in the 2nd district will pick among the 5 people who want to succeed Republican Vin Weber. And there's quite a bit still to come on our 10 o'clock news.
There sure is. Here's some of what's ahead. The Twins put on a homer extravaganza this afternoon, bombing the Bronx Bombers in Yankee Stadium. RJ Fritz will have those highlights. Before that, though, Matt Bela will tell us if those winds will die down before the weekend is over. But coming up next in Dimension, what goes on inside a real brothel? We'll go behind the doors of one of Rebecca Rand's businesses before the government shut it down.
This is the 10 o'clock news on Channel 4.
Your Daily 3 ticket could be your second chance to win. So send it in to the Daily 3 Spin. It's another shot at winning thousands of dollars, and it comes around twice a week. So watch the Daily 3 Spin every Monday and Thursday during the Daily 3 Drawing Show. Send it in and go for the spin.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fabulous Del Rubio triplets for McDonald's new Match 3 game.
Come on in and play Match 3. See how easy it can be. Just look for 3.
Play McDonald's Match 3 for a chance to win cash, Coca-Cola, fries, a Big Mac, or more. Just look for 3 that match.
Come on in and play Match 3. See how easy it can be. What you want is what you get at McDonald's today. Yeah.
Another morning and you're running behind. Not only do you have to get yourself ready, but you got to get the kids out the door and on the bus, Raj.
What's the point, Dave Lee?
Well, my point is that in the morning, people are too busy to find out what in the world is going on.
What in the world is going on at WCCO Radio?
Exactly.
Huh?
Just wake up to the Good Morning Show and you'll find out what in the world is going on.
News you want, people you know.
Like Raj Erickson.
And Dave Lee, weekday mornings on WCCO Radio. You know, Dave, I didn't get that.
Don't worry about it, Raj.
1,600 satellite-linked Walgreens pharmacies across America. In fact, you'd have to go out of your way not to be near one. Walgreens, the pharmacy America trusts. For the nearest location, call 1-800-WALGREENS.
Tonight in Dimension, we're going to revisit a story we ran last week on an illegal business that was recently closed down.
Last Monday, Minnesota's most famous madam reported to a women's correctional facility in Roseville to begin a 6-month jail sentence. Rebecca Rand was also given 20 months probation and a $200,000 fine. She also forfeited her 2 houses of prostitution. But before she shut down the Cosmopolitan Sauna in St. Paul, she agreed to allow us inside for a look around.
Caroline Lowe reports from what used to be the state's largest house of prostitution before the government moved in.
Cosmopolitan. This afternoon we have Tricia, Angela, Jill, Cheryl, Sandy, and Sasha. Children, is there anyone special you were looking for?
Well, some people say that it's an awful job. I don't see it as an awful job at all.
Oh, thousands. I mean, I've seen thousands of guys. Probably, I don't know. It'd be hard to say. Probably, I don't know. You think 10,000 is too much?
For 20 years, Rebecca Rand made a living selling sex, first as a prostitute, and most recently as the owner of 2 saunas where 60 women worked until Rand was forced out of business last week.
What's your goal for the day? How many are you going to do? 7. 7. And what did we write you down for your goal for the day? 2. 2. And for the shift, 21, right? 21 right. For the shift.
Rebecca Rand's employees at the Cosmopolitan Sauna in St. Paul sold sex while working 7-hour shifts 6 days a week.
Yeah, for a lot of people, they have a choice. I mean, they can work here, or they could be on welfare, or they could work a minimum wage job where all they had enough money to do was just get by.
Can we just choose not to do that?
Yeah.
On a typical day, women would have sex with 3 customers who paid an average of $85 for an hour-long session. When a man came into the sauna, he chose one of 7 women working that shift, paid her a fee, took a shower, and then met her in one of 7 bedrooms in the 2-story building. During our visit here, we were surprised by the number of well-dressed men in business suits who came here during the middle of the day to buy sex. We were also surprised at how clean the rooms were. Each room had carpeting, a large platform bed, and a mirror next to it.
We have really heavy, secure steel doors on virtually every door in the place with deadbolt locks on them. It's mainly for the police, so that they can't break a door in before you can get your clothes on.
And the women here provided their own condoms to reduce their risk of getting AIDS.
I think definitely we're cleaner than some girl going out to a bar
trying to find a guy. And going home with a guy.
They don't think about it. They don't really consciously practice safe sex the way we do. I mean, we consciously go to the drugstore every day. You know, we get rubbers.
30-year-old Kelly has been a prostitute for 9 years.
What kind of things have you learned?
Probably just that all men are the same, basically. They all kind of pull the same tricks and have the same ideas about women.
Half the customers at least are married, I would say. And they're just not getting what they want at home, so they come here and then they go back home. They have no intention of leaving their wives. It's just a way to get satisfied without really getting involved with another person, you know.
21-year-old Haley has been working here for 2 years, and like Kelly, she says it was an average weekly salary of $1,000 cash that prompted her to become a prostitute.
I knew a girl who was the same age as me and who had this nice little sports car, and she had all these nice clothes and everything else, and I'm like, wow, you know.
80, 90, 200, 210, 215.
As she counted her earnings after having sex with 2 men, Sasha said it was this kind of quick cash that will keep her in the prostitution business.
That's why we work here.
I don't want to get out of this business. I'm good for another 10 years.
I don't feel exploited at all. And people come here, they pay money for what they want. We provide that service, and we all get what we want out of it. I mean, it's give and take.
And these women are defiant about their profession. and insists that they have no plans to quit.
Well, I'll go on while I'll still be working and just not here anymore.
And finally, the day came to shut down one of Minnesota's most famous houses of prostitution.
I'm really sad about it. I love Becky. I think anyone could understand that something they worked really hard for their whole life and tried to perfect, and that if someone steals it from you, that's not a good feeling. A feeling of being ripped off. This was built through my work as a sex worker and contributed to through the other women's work as sex workers. And to have to turn it over to the government this is the worst pimp we've ever had.
The number has been disconnected.
For Dimension, I'm Caroline Lowe.
Are you looking for transportation that's elegant? Consider a safari van conversion from GMC Truck. No luxury car can surpass our comfortable and spacious interiors. No luxury car offers the advantages of front and rear heat and air conditioning, plus the security of all-wheel drive. And no luxury car can give you built-in stereo, television, and VCR. If you want the ultimate in personal transportation, see your Vikingland dealer for GMC trucks and conversion vans.
For years, if you wanted a beautiful, healthy lawn, you had to collect your grass clippings in a container like this. But Toro recycler mowers cut without bagging, turning clippings into fine pieces that become a natural fertilizer, not thatch. So, for a beautiful, healthy lawn today, you don't have to put your clippings into this container. You can simply put them into this one. See the complete line of Toro recycler mowers at these Toro dealers.
Water Bedroom is having a 4-day sale. 4 days only to save on everything you need for your bedroom. Water beds, soft sides, day beds, futons, metal beds, bunk beds, kids stuff, and beautiful bedroom furniture. The 4-day sale at Water Bedroom. Better snap to it. Sale ends Monday.
Wanted. Dads who beat the system. Dads who change their jobs, hide their money, and run from the government. Dads who in Minnesota alone owe hundreds of millions of dollars in back child support. Sunday, Tom Casparoli tracks these dads and moms that are behind or refuse to pay child support. We'll reveal the worst offenders right here in Minnesota. We'll name names, and we'll ask questions to find out why these people are deadbeat dads. Sunday at 10 on Channel 4.
Now, Matt Balow and the weather.
Well, the winds about sent me off the road today. I don't know about the rest of you, but...
And I didn't rake, and the neighbors got them, and then the next neighbor, and I think they're in another county by now.
That's not a bad idea, I guess. You don't have to pick them up on a day like this. Well, if you didn't get a chance to get outside and work in the yard, it'll be a lot less windy tomorrow, so it looks like you should have no excuse to get out there and do some work. Tomorrow morning, it'll be cooler in the morning. Temperatures will be in the low 40s, and it's not going to be windy, but it's still going to be breezy out there. We'll probably have a northwest wind around 10 to 15 miles per hour throughout most of the day tomorrow. What we have in the upper levels of the atmosphere is some high pressure out on the west coast. There's a low pressure system located in southern Canada. Between these two pressure systems, we're getting some air that's being squeezed right through the Dakotas in Minnesota and western Wisconsin. That's those strong northwest winds that we have outside and have had most of the day. Those northwest winds have ushered in some colder temperatures, and temperatures this afternoon compared to the same time yesterday, over 30 degrees colder back in north central Minnesota, but 20 to 30 degrees colder throughout most of eastern Minnesota and back into western Wisconsin. If you happened to get outside today, as Amy said earlier, you probably got blown around quite a bit. That wind was creating whitecaps on some areas. Well, all right, it wasn't whitecaps on some area lakes, but it was pretty windy out there. Hairspray was a big seller today. Many children around the Twin Cities were sent with rocks in their pockets so that they wouldn't get picked up because of the strong wind. Well, you get the general idea. We had quite a bit of wind out there, and not a bad day for a little windsurfing. In the meantime, we still have plenty of wind out there. 67 was the high. That's above normal, but a lot colder than yesterday. 53 was the morning low temperature. It's been dry even with all that wind, and currently outside, we still have clear skies. The temperature's 55, a northwest wind still at 24 miles per hour. And look at that. There's our wind chill, 38 degrees, a wind chill this late in spring. Well, some things, I guess, just never change, and that's weird weather in Minnesota this time of year. Around the upper Midwest, temperatures are starting to cool down now. Temperatures are in the 30s up north, 39 in International Falls, 37 in Hibbing, with 40s and 50s across most of the rest of the state. Redwood Falls, still the warm spot with 63, but with the clear skies and the northwest winds, which should be relaxing a little bit over the next few hours, we're expecting temperatures to drop off about another 12 or 14 degrees, so it's going to be a little chilly out there tonight. The leading edge of that colder air was moving through Minnesota last night at this time. That cold air showed up on the satellite loop as a line of clouds which moved rather rapidly toward the east. Plenty of sunshine today. There has been some high cloudiness across most of northern and central Minnesota with some mid-level clouds as well, but that's been kind of skirting us toward the north. It's moving down to the southeast. Probably won't affect us too much, so skies tonight should stay mostly clear. We have a little trough of low pressure that's moving through. Really you're not going to notice it out there. It really doesn't make much difference. But it is going to continue to give us those mostly clear skies. And in fact, over the next 24 hours, high pressure will be the rule. So once again, tomorrow we should see some sunshine, but it looks as though we'll have a little less wind. Temperatures tomorrow, seasonal, but no 80s. Our forecast for the Twin Cities, mostly clear, colder, gradually diminishing winds, 42 degrees for an overnight low and a northwest wind at 10 to 20. Then for tomorrow, mostly sunny, it'll be less windy, 59 for a high, a northwest wind at 10 to 15. Then partly cloudy. Tomorrow night, 37 for the low. And on Monday, we are looking for some sunshine once again, 57 degrees for the high. The extended outlook Tuesday through Thursday calling for a chance of thunderstorms on Tuesday. It'll be warmer, 73, and then Wednesday and Thursday, partly cloudy, temps in the mid to the upper 60s, overnight lows right around the low 40s. So it looks like we'll be getting back into a more spring-like, summer-like pattern toward Tuesday.
I don't think hairspray would have helped today, by the way.
I don't think, unless you get that industrial strength hairspray,
Yeah,
which,
that wouldn't
do we
have
know
worked.
anybody that has that? No, probably not.
Of course not. Thank you,
Great day
Randy.
for hitting golf balls with the wind. Burning jet fuel kept firefighters on alert today at Twin Cities International. But not to worry, this was just a drill. Firefighters from Eagan and St. Anthony, among other departments, participated in the exercise. The training session involves setting jet fuel on fire in the fire pit area and then hosing it down. Those high winds today carried the thick smoke quite a distance.
Any mulching mower can chop up grass and return it to your lawn as fertilizer. But the new Honda Harmony's exclusive twin-blade cutting action gives you finer clippings than other mulchers. So you get a better end result. The new Honda Harmony. Nothing's easier.
Guilty.
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 Guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty.
Now there's a way to get rid of used motor oil without feeling guilty about it.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Bring it to a participating Amoco station for recycling.
The average American mother has 2.3 kids. One pet lifts 630 pounds, runs 17 errands, and spends 1.5 hours a day in a motor vehicle. Right now, your Chrysler Plymouth dealers are offering Plymouth Voyager with a family value package for under $14,300. For those who understand that every day is Mother's Day. Real advantages for the real world at your Chrysler Plymouth dealer today.
Let's go twinning, twinning. The twins are really humming. In and after inning, the hits just keep on coming.
Watch the Twins slug it out with Don Mattingly and the Yankees Sunday afternoon at 12:30 on Channel 4, the Twinning Station.
Twinning on Channel 4. Yeah, twinning on Channel 4.
The 10 o'clock news continues with Ralph John Fritz and the sports.
Well, I don't know why they need me here with you two guys.
come
Go ahead.
on.
Take it away.
What do you mean by that?
Two sports chaps. Go ahead.
Yes, I mean,
of course, but you
have to put up with this guy 5 days a week. Now they're putting next to me here at 6. You know what I'm going to do?
Twins have had enough one-run games today, or this season, and today another one.
Yes, and the bats finally came out. Wanted to see Kruger win that 5th, but he pitched well enough. He could have won it. But once in a while, you get that feeling, and it radiates to your teammates, like it did today in the 5th inning of that Twins game. Twins Shane Mack, Kirby Puckett, Ken Herbeck, Randy Bush, all homered off New York Scott Sanderson. Took more than that to beat the Yankees, though. Gary Wayne in relief of Bill Kruger serves up a 3-run gopher ball to Deion James. It was a home run derby in the Bronx today, and it was a home run that settled it by a man in dire need of one. Chili Davis, pinch hitting in the 8th, hit his first of the year. Twins held on. That's right, they held on this time for a 7-6 win. Well, the Yankees hit 3 round trippers of their own. Same 2 teams tomorrow in the rubber game. There you see the line score 26 hits in all in that game. Bob Welsh is back in the rotation for Oakland. He needed some help from Ricky Henderson to take an extra base hit away from Rob Deere here. No one could help him, however. Nice catch. No one could help him on Lou Whitaker's shot. Not even Jose Canseco, who always makes an adventure in right. The Tigers beat Welch and the A's 5-3 was the final in that one. Elsewhere in the American League, Milwaukee nips Toronto 5-4. Jack Morris took his 2nd loss of the year in 11. Texas over Chicago 4-1, and Baltimore beats Seattle 4-2. Other games, 3-2 for Cleveland, and it was 7-6. Boston beat Kansas City. Former Twin Jeff Reardon gets a save there. All eyes in San Francisco were on Bill Swift. That's because he's the only pitcher in the major leagues to own a 5-0 record. He beat Philadelphia 2-1 today with some relief help from former golfer Brian Hickerson. On the National League scoreboard, 3-0 Atlanta shuts out the Mets. It was St. Louis over San Diego in the 4th, 3-0. Montreal and Los Angeles postponed, not canceled. They're going to play it eventually. Pittsburgh beat Houston 6-0. Chicago over Cincinnati 10-3, the final there.
Celebrated his 110th birthday. Pete was born and raised in Barnesville, Minnesota, which is in the western part of the state. Coincidentally, Barnesville was founded the same year Pete was born, the year after Chester A. Arthur became president. Speaking of presidents, Pete Solemn has been around for 20 of the 40 U.S. presidents.
Good, clean country living must have done it.
You think so? That must be it.
More people are living to 100. I just read that, so we've got a better chance as time goes on here, I think, Amy, of making it.
I don't know if I want to make it past 100. I think that could be pretty tough. Good night, everyone.
Bring the Baron home tonight. Red Baron Pizza microwave singles.
There's no place like home for quality oak and leather furniture, and there's no place like home for the most affordable